Hey everybody, we're Motley Mimic, and today we're going to go through Wanda Maximoff and break her down using D&D 5e rules, spells, backgrounds, and mechanics. Now,
is that what you have planned today?
That's what we have planned today.
Oh, I forgot. I got. Wait, let me get my notes real fast.
Well,
the unprepared player.
check out our tropes video.
Right
and how to deal.
Here.
Yeah.
I think
we need a lot more views before we can have like links that pop in on videos.
I can do it now.
There's so many rules.
Secrets. I have my ways, Tyler.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, good for you, man.
Anyways.
So Wanda Maximoff, I mean, if you've been watching WandaVision, she's pretty boss. If you've watched any of the MCU stuff, she's pretty awesome. Very, very powerful. If you've played D&D as long as we have, two things happen. The first thing that happens is
you start to break everything down into D&D rules.
That's right.
You can't do it.
It's almost
and when they're rolling the dice, and you say like, "Oh, they failed. Oh, they succeeded. Oh, good bluff check, Aragorn."
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Good sneak check, Frodo.
Yeah, you kind of can't help but watch popular blockbuster movies and start breaking them down into D&D mechanics of like, oh, I wonder what class I would be. But also, the second thing that happens, which is really fun, is you start to try to draw from other media that you consume to create, like, feed it into your fantasy.
I do this every time I make a new character. I kind of look at other media and say, this is cool. How can I adapt and take some of the flavor of this and make it into a character for me for my new game I'm playing?
Absolutely.
I love doing that.
Absolutely. And so hopefully in this discussion, we're going to, scratch both of those itches.
We're going to explain D&D. We're going to explain Wanda with D&D rules. We're going to tell you how it's done.
Yep.
How do they do it with D&D? How would you do it with not how they did it, how are you going to do it with D&D?
In our pre-discussion, we kind of determined there are two separate classes we think that she could be. So,
stay tuned to find out which one we think she is.
Which one we think she is.
And just as a spoiler, I'm right. I'm a roll for right now, Tyler.
That's an 8. 8 is beatable. Come on.
I might be wrong.
This is the one I threw in jail. It might remember that.
Deception check. 5.
I rolled a 5. You are right.
I am right.
He is right.
So
just
if
remember,
you want
to see what Brad got right,
stay tuned to the end.
Tuned.
And you'll see why I'm right.
Yeah.
Because I can roll better than Tyler all the time.
So we've got some clips.
Let's do it. Let's watch it.
We're gonna roll some clips.
We'll roll some clips, so we'll talk about it.
This first series of clips, like they are arranged a little bit scattywamped to try to keep them in chronological order when they appeared, but also kind of categorized into these groupings. So this first clip, as you can see, this is Wanda and Pietro, and they're talking about their background.
Ooh.
We wait for 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us.
Tony Stark to kill us.
For Tony Stark to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what background do you think she is?
So I tend to think that the majority of superheroes in any medium can be the haunted background.
Oh,
because
like
they
from
all
Batman.
got dead parents and something traumatic that happened to them that brought them on their hero's journey.
Yeah, although I think in this case I might say I think she's like a faction agent. She joined Hydra.
Faction agent.
For a reason.
Very cool.
To give her stuff.
That's right.
Benefits,
That's
right?
true.
Any faction comes with benefits.
Uh-huh.
I think she's a faction agent.
Okay, faction agent
I'm not
for
going
Hydra.
I'm not going to disagree with you with the haunted one doesn't work. I think it totally works well. I think she's a faction agent though.
Well, and as I think about it, I wonder if she couldn't also be maybe a folk hero. For her little Sokovian town.
Oh, that's a good idea too. A folk hero. Look at that.
And finally,
Who plays folk hero anymore anyway?
I mean,
if you do, let us know in the comments.
That and Noble might be the most prevalent or in fantasy stories is, they're a noble that forsook their title, or you're a folk hero that kind of rose through the ranks, or you're both in the case of Jon Snow.
But which one did you choose in your background when you played him? For a different video.
You can't have the feature. You can't have both features, John.
Stay on topic. Wanda.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay, yeah. We should go. We should talk about that one. That's pretty good.
Maybe if you like this, guys, we will explain Game of Thrones with D&D.
Dude, D&D explains Game of Thrones would be fun.
Haunted one. I think that makes sense. I say faction agent.
Yeah, and I would also say maybe one other option of what she could be is a shoot, I lost it. I'm sorry.
Cut out the video now, Tyler.
Okay.
Clip.
Cut. Bop.
He forgot, guys. It happens. He failed his intelligence check to
You
remember.
brought up Jon Snow. All right, history check, right? Intelligence, 11. Man, my history is probably a -2, to be honest.
There you go, people. He failed.
That's my real world stat.
Tyler cannot pass a check today. This is good for me because it means I will win.
You will win.
All right.
So, moving on.
Haunted One or Faction Agent. Moving on.
What's Faction Agent? Yeah.
What's the next clip?
These next clips are actually a bunch in a row. She doesn't use this a lot in later films, but in Age of Ultron in particular, she does some mind games, man.
Oh, I like this. I actually wish they'd have her do more of this in future videos.
Yeah, it's true. Now, how about that stealth?
Yeah, that's
Did
cool.
you see that? She's like, and for all of these,
So definitely she has proficiency in stealth.
she definitely
for
does.
sure.
Although I would point out, proficiency doesn't mean you always succeed, because Hawkeye, who is the perception master, probably has the awareness feat, all that good stuff.
For sure.
She totally doesn't sneak up on him. He zaps her.
That's true.
But yeah, Ultron going, yeah, it's time for some mind games when they're in the boat.
She's playing with their heads.
Yep, she gets Thor, who, he sees everything getting destroyed. He's Steve Rogers. Now he's all by himself. And Black Widow, who kind of goes back to what's it called? The Red Room?
The Red Room, yeah.
Yeah. So
Her training. Ooh.
Dude, mind games.
Mind games.
Mind games. What do you kind of think about that? What do you think that is in D&D?
So I think this is probably either a Phantasmal Force spell or a Mental Prison. Although I'm more in lines with Phantasmal Force. I mean, that's the spell that you essentially conjure up like a phantasmal image that can do damage, and all the Avengers were shaken and damaged. And if you're a mighty Avenger and heroic, that's probably what damage is. You get shaken.
Absolutely.
So I think it's probably that. Although Mental Prison works too, because Mental Prison conjures up images and in their little immediate area around them. They also something different. They weren't right next to each other, so it makes sense with the way Mental Prison would work. They would just kind of see some sort of vision or thing that would be traumatizing. Which, yeah, that sounds like psychic damage to me. I think any psychic damage would probably be traumatizing.
It's true. They're like they're down and out. Like they can't proceed anymore. And there are those variants you can play for hit points to make them hero points, and it's just how active can you be in this combat?
And I think 5th edition kind of takes hit points, and it's like a mishmash of like, this is how hit points work. There are hit points and hero points. It's just, but yeah, I think just with the, if I was a DM and a player threw some sort of psychic vision like that at my NPCs or some case, I probably would say that they're like shaken or kind of mixed up like that. So I think it totally makes sense.
Absolutely. I like that a lot. What's the difference like with Mental Prison though? Mental Prison, your surroundings change as opposed to you just seeing something superimposed on your surroundings?
So like with Mental Prison, it conjures up like a whole like image. You theoretically could walk out of it with Mental Prison, where Phantasmal Force you can. Because it's just like in your head only. So it kind of depends on the flavor you'd want to go with. Like, is it just in their head, or is it still in their head, but it's kind of around them and they perceive like danger around them?
Yeah.
I mean, again, with the way Tony Stark was, right? He also saw the thing just like that. What's it called?
Leviathan.
The Leviathan, right? Yeah. He just animates and comes to attack him, right? That speaks a lot to like Mental Prison to me in a way. But again, I think either spell fits the flavor very well.
Absolutely. This is really neat. And it draws on like their own backstories, which makes me think that preluding this spell, she had to do a mind read, like a detect thoughts.
I actually totally agree with that.
She had to do a deep dive delve.
Right. She's doing detect thoughts as they're all fighting around. She's detecting thoughts of a bunch, and they're in the middle of combat, right? So they're like, what's going on? I'm too busy. I have to, hit the thing or block the thing or walk away or do something.
Pietro's running around like crazy. He's doing aggro on him like nuts. He's going toe to toe with them.
Oh, now you're giving me new ideas as a DM.
She's just looking at their minds, and as the DM, you're just like, yeah. So she moves here, and that's all you detect she does. Hey, can you roll this check really quick? Oh, you're Tyler. You failed.
Again, he rolls a 7. You cannot roll good tonight.
It's so funny because all the high numbers are on this end. So all I need to do is put it here and then roll soft. Dang it. It still didn't work. That's an 11.
You threw this dice and dice jugs didn't like you. I'm surprised you brought it back out.
Well, it matches our background better than the green one did.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Fun spoiler alert for the end. And again, at the end, we're going to talk about what class we actually think she is. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if Brad's right or if I'm right. Comment if you already have an inkling. And we are kind of narrowing into spellcaster, or at least someone who has the capability of casting spells.
I think it makes sense.
I don't
For
think
someone
either of us
like
think she's a
Wanda,
monk.
Yeah, she's not a Steve Rogers where she runs up and punches people and
Right.
throws a shield at them. Or...
Small spoiler for that. I think that there's some cool scenes coming up, and let's go ahead and look at this really quick. So this is really short, but Hulk.
Now,
scary.
at the Hulk scene. So
Yeah.
this is interesting. I actually don't think she would have used Phantasmal Force on the Hulk.
I agree with that.
Okay, what do you think she used on him?
I think she used. Now it's. I mean, it depends on your definition of the Hulk. Is he a monster or is he a creature like a person? Because I think she used a dominate spell, one of those two.
Interesting.
And basically just told him go crazy, go hurt everything, and go blow stuff up.
You see, so this is interesting. I disagree with the dominate
Because
because dominate like I guess at least the way I think of it, like you're like dominate, you're like in control of the thing, and Hulk is a big
Ooh.
rage beast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, I don't think she can hope to control the Hulk. I think it's more like a Crown of Madness. Crown of Madness. I mean, it gives the flavor of the crown because you say, okay, you don't have the crown above your head,
Sure.
but talk to the look in their
got the
eyes,
red
the red eyes,
eyes,
and he
yeah.
has it in
He
this.
has
Like
them.
he
They're
is just crazy.
crazy.
I think it's more like a Crown of Madness she used on Hulk to just make him go rage through the town.
That is freaking sick. If
So-
you've ever like been
Although
preparing
Dominate-
spells and just
yeah.
looked over Crown of Madness, remember that's what brought down the Hulk, man.
Right. It could work. No, I definitely, I mean, Dominate makes sense for sure.
Sure.
And I think if you're playing if you want to say, I want to play a character that's kind of like Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah.
I think definitely so in your wheelhouse a spell to go get for sure. It should be a pickup you do. But again, I think Crown of Madness is something she's done that. And I think it's like a second level spell too. So not even that hard of a spell.
Well,
right?
and you bring up a good point because here.
Okay,
in
now
next
this is
clip-
interesting because
Yeah.
I actually agree with you on the dominate thing because I started thinking like, okay, you watch the clip, right? He lets Barton go,
Right.
and then what happens?
I mean, he can't move. Like she's still controlling him for a while.
She's still, and then he falls through the floor, right?
Right.
I'm like, okay, so what spell makes somebody fall through the floor? I can't think of a spell that does that. However, knowing Vision's capabilities, he himself can alter his matter, his essence, right, to be heavier, go through walls, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think this is a dominate monster or dominate person, and she's telling him to make himself heavy to go through the floor.
heavy enough.
Heavy enough to go through all the floor.
That's neat.
She's controlling him to do it.
That's super.
So I think
neat.
you're right in the dominate for that one.
That is so cool.
So
That is so cool. Yeah, the mind games and stuff like dominate.
Total
and all
mind
that
game
stuff,
person.
Like, yeah.
So-
I mean, don't overlook those spells, and these are all combat situations too. where
Right.
She's using the
you
the
can
mind
be a
game
total
stuff.
mind game person out of combat and be a total mind game person in combat too. And just look at Wanda to do it. So
So true.
I wish they'd do more mind games with her in other movies. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, she's already set apart a lot, but it'd be a really neat flavor to give to her versus just other heroes, other than just can I hit them as hard as everybody else, right?
It's very true. It's very true. And I mean, yeah, they lean a lot on some of her other types of spells that let's go through them here. I've got two clips back to back. I didn't realize this till I was like looking back through this, but Rogers, he kind of takes a whooping from her a couple times. Every time he tries to charge her, she's just like, just knocks him down.
Just keeps pushing.
Just puts him prone, man. Just puts him prone, which I think is pretty cool. Although I submit that these guys being knocked prone is not actually D&D mechanic wise, because it doesn't affect their movement the way that being knocked prone does. I think it's just kind of for flavor. It's like, oh, I knocked you
maybe.
back, and then you're just like right back.
I mean, maybe.
where
I mean,
were.
you could say it is like a Bigby's hand type spell, right?
Okay,
and
yeah.
she's just like, you know,
just
punching and bashing people. That's what Bixby hand does, right? Like
That's
it can knock people around and do things. And that kind of is as a telekinetic type person, right? She does mind games. She does other telekinesis type stuff. Bigby's hand totally fits in that realm, I think.
That's very true.
Or it could just be a straight up just like telekinesis spell, right? Does it really hurt Steve Rogers in that? It doesn't look like he's really hurt.
Yeah.
You know, maybe she's just using telekinesis just to like push him around and throw him around.
Yeah. By the way, what a cool spell in 2020 to not ever have to touch a doorknob,
Right?
right? That's pretty cool.
Mage hand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's maybe just mage
Just
handing.
mage hand, just like, I'll open the door and close it behind me.
We have talked about the ideas of like germaphobes or you know people who
Or
are
she just
very
got a really,
reasonable.
she's got a really cool unseen servant there.
That's true.
That's
Dude,
open the door, closing it for her,
that's
and you don't see
right.
him.
You don't see him because he's unseen.
Unseen servant, man. That's just the way to do it.
That's the way. Unseen servant is the best. I think
It's a very underutilized spell, but it has tons of really good uses.
So many
if you're
good uses.
creative and you just want to just go to town, it's like you could totally make that spell just like an awesome spell for
Yeah.
your whole campaign.
Quick reminder, how long does it last?
Like an hour.
Heck yeah.
So you can
Just-
get, you
just
can have
to
more than
walk
one,
around
and it's a
potential
ritual.
machine.
You can have like a few in that hour just doing stuff for you.
That'd be so cool.
If I was a wizard, I'd walk around with like 3 or 4 unseen servants around me all the time.
Yeah.
Hand me my fork. I need a towel. Open that door for me. Step on that pressure plate first.
That's so true. That's pretty great.
Oh, you want to go first stroke? Okay, you're death. So, check out that video too if you ever want to later. Anyways, back to Wanda.
Like the Wanda. In this next clip, this is the big train. And she's able to like shoot her magic down and grab the wheels and essentially engage their brakes. And I mean, Pietro's doing the heavy lifting, the light lifting or whatever, and she's doing the heavy lifting for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like too, it's interesting because you might say, oh, she's trying to stop the train, but she's not like pulling a Peter Parker like in Spider-Man, right? He's got all the webs trying to actually slow the train, right? As you just described, she's just putting the brakes on the train and hoping it stops itself.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So again, I kind of feel like this is a very telekinesis type spell.
I can agree with
she's
that.
probably doing.
I can agree with that. I'm totally.
If there
on
was a
board
hold
with that.
object spell, I guess I might say that, but there's
Yeah.
nothing I know.
Now, if you're super experienced with 5e and you're following along, you know that saying things like telekinesis and stuff has outruled some classes at this
Maybe
point.
not.
So we're narrowing in.
She might do some stuff that I might say here in a minute, and it might give away what I think she is really fast. We're trying to hold it in.
It's so true.
Anyways, we keep going.
Dude, this next clip is pretty
Unseen servant
wild.
open the door for her, man.
Unseen servant. Yep. She don't touch no handles.
That's like maybe a magic missile. She hits 2 guys, right?
She does.
Like,
That's true. And it's like that's just kind of fun flavor. It's like
or wait, is that guy actually shooting the other guy?
Yeah. The guy was about to shoot her, but she like hits him at the right time, so he headshots the next guy.
Maybe it's actually a telekinetic push, and it failed its save like really bad. So the DM was super generous to the character playing Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's cool. Hey DMs,
Yeah.
cool tip for your players.
I think Joss Whedon definitely seems like the kind of DM that would just be like piling minis after minis after minis after minis on the table, and you guys are sitting there going, wait, there's 8,000 of these Ultron bots that we have to fight, and he's like, yes. And then as you start fighting them, it's like they're kind of bumbling dummies and they keep killing each other accidentally.
right,
So that he can kind of move them off the board, so it's fun for you
Right.
still.
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, then she goes one deeper and like rips the dude apart, tosses him into another one.
Yeah, I feel like it's doing damage now. Like there's like telekinesis doesn't necessarily do damage.
Sure.
So maybe it's just like a cool spin of like Bigby's hand. Maybe.
Okay.
Like it's just like, yeah, I want to like crunch the guy and then just like okay, and the DM just illustrates and orchestrates it really cool. But
Yeah.
it probably just like a Bigby's hand in that case, unless there's a different spell you think it could be.
No, I can agree with like a Bigby's hand in those instances. I was wondering about telekinesis if you just like slammed something into something else using telekinesis, but can you just not with like
I think it could, but I mean, telekinesis doesn't technically have damage written in the spell. So if I was a DM and a player was doing that, I might rule it as either like fall damage or like improvised damage of some sort in that case, which maybe these things, like you said, are weak enough that they can crash into each other and just destroy each other.
Okay, that's really cool.
Let's keep going to the next clip.
So this next one, I was looking at this and I was thinking, you know what, maybe this is just a different flavor on magic missile. Like she targets 3 of them and boom, like she hits 3 of them with magic missile. Although it does look like it's a centralized point that goes off. Like that's how it's described, but
Again, that's just kind of the way you're orchestrating or describing magic missiles for your flavor of spellcaster. That's
Exactly.
a one to max off. I agree with that. I think that looks very magic missile-esque to me.
yeah, I think that's really cool. I think magic missile is definitely a good go-to for a lot of different spellcasting classes. It's a good one to just kind of have something to do every combat.
Right.
And then at the end of Age of Ultron, we do see her start to do some what I would judge as flying.
Right.
Right. Although
Maybe not.
although maybe not. Jumping straight into
I don't just see her like fly around in the movies. I'm trying to remember. Does she fly in the comics?
I think so. I mean, it's not Superman the way she flies. Like the way she flies in the movies.
But
are
she
very
flies.
similar.
I mean,
Sure.
again, in the movies, I haven't seen her. But I would just say yes, that's flying. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a Vision flying. I mean, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
flying.
when Vision flies, he's like shoulders out, bare chest. He's
going.
Supermaning.
I
you
mean,
know?
look at this this clip right here. Right,
Yeah,
she's coming into the scene.
Civil War.
I think she's just like Featherfall.
Okay.
I mean, I think Falcon dropped her off, right?
Yep,
He was
yep.
actually doing the flying. So I don't know if, again, she's flying or again, Featherfall.
Cool. Yeah, I can
Classic
get on board
spell.
with Featherfall. That said, anyone that flies eventually lands, and they land slowly.
All right.
So Featherfall could be good. This scene is really cool. There's a bunch of spells back to back that I think fit really well into
Shield
5e.
right here. This is totally a shield spell.
Totally shield. That's exactly.
I
what
think it's
that
a
is.
classic, cool way to say shield spell. That's what imagine it doing too, right? It's blocking the shot.
Yep.
That's what your shield spell does.
She throws up shield because it was going to hit her, and now her AC got boosted by 5, and now it doesn't hit her.
Right.
But it clearly would have hit her, but for this magic barrier. And
So
then,
what do you think she's doing here?
so as her reaction, she used shield, and it
Right.
negated his attack. Then on her turn, in the initiative, she does hold person on him.
Interesting.
So she just hold person.
A whole person totally works on this. Although I'm going to come back to not to sound like a broken record, but I think it actually could be Bigby's hand because he's like crushing her, and then I think the guy flies right if
That's
you keep the
true.
clip going.
That's true. Actually, he does get thrown.
But I mean, you could do a whole person into a telekinesis push, and then it's hard for the guy to resist because he's just being held in the air. Like you can't.
That's true.
He might, if he's held person, I think he might actually automatically, or he might either have he might have disadvantage or automatically fail his check to be thrown with telekinesis. So that could be a good combo out there to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But definitely telekinesis or Bigby's hand for this part where she tosses Rogers up into the third floor. Is it the third floor?
Is it that, or is she just casting the jump spell on him?
Ooh, okay, all right. How high can you jump with jump? Average floor is 10 feet. That'd be about 30 feet high. Can you do that?
I don't know.
We could double check.
Maybe.
But that's pretty neat. Yeah,
I'm gonna look
could
it up.
totally work.
Here we go, guys. I'm gonna look it up real fast. I mean, it accelerates your jump a lot. I mean, again, you have to stay within your movement. But if you're playing Steve Rogers, the monkey has a lot of movement, so
That's so true.
It might work really well.
Oh man, yeah, that's a really cool combo too.
I mean, I think jump just doubles your jump height. So if he already has a lot of movement or something like that, like you know, he can, or your jump distance is tripled. So if Steve Rogers being Captain America can jump, let's say 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
Triple, sure, 30 feet up, why not? Jump spell.
There you go.
Could be jump spell.
It could totally
and
work.
a cool way to say how you're giving him the jump spell, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, spell combos like that between spellcasters and fighters are the shiz, man. They're so fun to do.
Good combo.
I really like that. Here, there's that poison cloud inside.
Oh, yeah.
and so she's countering poison cloud. What do you think about this?
Now, I think there's a few ways you could do this. The one that works with the way with the class I think she is would actually probably be like Wind Wall.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Where she's like probably because again the cloud comes up, she just kind of blocks it, right? And then just kind of dissipates up in this case, right?
Yeah.
It makes it kind of swirl, but it could just be a cool way you're doing it. But again, I think a Wind Wall makes sense. It's like a 15-foot at least tall wall. You could have a surround.
That's cool.
You know, and it's just kind of whirlwind it up.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. I would.
But
say,
I think there's lots of spells that this could be. I mean,
yeah.
Take your pick of any spell that does some sort of wind effect, gust.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a bunch, right?
Absolutely. You're
I think a lot of them
about
are in at least the sorcerer class. A lot of them are in the wizard class. But I think almost all of them are probably on every spellcaster's class.
I think wind spells totally work too. Grenades as such, is that poison gas or is it a spell effect? I would say
is it a cloud kill?
Probably counts as a spell effect. And so I would say that this is just the Russo brothers describing a dispel magic really cool. All the gas comes and it just like curls into your hands and then dissipates up straight up. You
That's
know,
a cool
like
idea.
That.
Actually,
she just cast it really high. She just maxed it out as high as she could and dispelled it.
Sure. I can see that as a really cool effect for dispel magic for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So when you say dispel magic, just remember you don't have to just say magic goes away. It's like, yeah, make it like
you're the
go
DM
in a cool way.
If you're the DM, you can totally have that. Describe that however you want. It's your job to narrate the story and describe how you want it to
want
go.
the Russo brothers to be my DMs.
That'd be a cool session to do sometime.
That'd be really cool.
I don't know. I wonder if they play. Oh yeah. So
I do have the clip here because I actually thought telekinesis a little bit with Vision.
But telekinesis doesn't make you heavy. It's not going to necessarily push you through a floor. I feel like, and he slams through floor after floor after floor. And again, I'm thinking like Vision himself. Has the ability to, again, he can change his own matter, right? To phase through things, to make himself heavier, lighter, whatever, right?
Right.
So again, I just think it's a dominate monster or dominate person, whatever, right? And she's just telling him to like, no, use your own powers to like, you know, make yourself really heavy and go through the ground. Like, okay, I thought it's in the wheelhouse of what she could do. To
And
me,
it
that makes sense.
Works because
works.
he doesn't come right after them. You know what I mean?
And
Unlike a telekinesis, you can move somebody, but as soon as you let go of the telekinesis, they're going to get back up.
For sure. Or she could have given him like a Gios spell, right? To say like, make yourself having go through the floor, and then when you get down there, stay there for 10 minutes, or stay there for 8 hours. Or
Okay.
Or it could even be a suggestion spell.
I was about to say that.
Like,
yeah, maybe.
And she's got to concentrate on it for a while, and he won't get back, Emily, because I saw myself on the floor, and for 8 hours while you're concentrating on it, I'm gonna stay down here.
I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but there's this really hilarious. I think they're called Toon Sandwich, but they do these mocking. What do you call it? These spoofs of trailers.
Okay.
And they have that scene, and she's putting him on his knees. But he's holding out a ring, and he says, "This feels coerced."
That's funny.
So in that case, definitely suggestion.
Right.
But here's some good old-fashioned telekinesis, I think. Here's all the cars, and then she's chucking them all out from there.
That's a magic missile to me right there.
Oh yes.
Although
missile.
I think it could be something else.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of actually like other cantrips that it could be.
Okay.
I mean, you could be twin casting firebolt. You could be Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
That does multiple blasts of things, right?
Yeah.
Picking up Vision here, I think that's definitely probably a telekinesis.
I agree with that. I'd say telekinesis to pick him up. Maybe it's just a funny skinning for levitate or something like that. But yeah.
Now, levitate makes a lot of sense in some regards to a degree.
Right. I mean, she's kind of far away from him, but.
Oh, is she flying right here?
I want to say yes.
I don't think so. I think she just jumped really far.
It's true, because she does just kind of go up and then come back down.
I don't think she's flying.
But you can also do that flying.
I think she's jumping and then feather falling again.
I think
because she jumped from a really high building, jumped really far out, and she's got to just fall down far. And you can do that with feather fall. Dude, you can fall with style here. Okay?
Take it from this angle, man. Oh, it's falling with style. It's not flying. It's falling with style.
She's falling with style.
I mean, take it from this angle, man. Maybe she's like bugging her DM because he keeps going like, "Why do you keep casting fly? You're just gonna go like this and go like this." Like other people play, they're like, "Why do you keep casting fly?" And she's like, "I like it." It's like, you're not flying though.
Trying to fly slightly.
Yeah. She catches Vision and levitates him over to her. Maybe. Anyways, it's interesting. But I think that here when and she does this a couple times in these different movies, when somebody's attacking her, she seems to catch the blade.
I think that makes sense for S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way. Like,
I agree.
It's just like the way you're, again, describing or saying your S.H.I.E.L.D. goes off. And there's definitely, I think, precedent even in Dungeons & Dragons itself to say you can, kind of, without changing the function of the spell, can kind of describe or say it's a little different or change the color or make it look or make, in this case, be thematic because you're in a movie, right?
Totally.
But I would totally say that's like S.H.I.E.L.D. spell.
Absolutely.
Not a big fat shield to catch bolts, just a small one to catch the blade.
Well, and then maybe she follows up with a Bigby's hand to chuck her into the the truck behind her. Maybe just kind of feeding off of what you did with the Ultron bots. Like what makes somebody go from here to there and smash into something?
Well, I think so. I mean, you could say it's an Eldritch Blast with that's with your repelling blast, right? You blast them and push them a direction. She does a lot of moving around, stuff like that.
It's true.
It doesn't have to always be Bigby's hand, although I think that totally makes sense too.
Yeah.
But again, even in this scene here, right, where she's throwing bolts,
shoots him through a window.
I mean, to me, that looks like it seems to me something like maybe like a repelling blast with
very cool
with your Eldritch Blast.
Well, and then she jumps away.
Yeah, I guess she doesn't really fly. She just jumps really far.
Although she does get hit while she's in the air, and then she falls immediately, which makes me think she was concentrating on it.
Oh, she failed.
But maybe.
All right, I'll give that to you. Maybe she's flying and she just failed the concentration save. I'll give that to you. It could be that.
Okay, so this there are constraints to telekinesis, and we were talking about this before.
Yeah, so if you're playing something like Wanda, right?
Yes.
And eventually you get high enough levels of spellcaster, you probably get access to Wish. And I think this is just like an easy like you're a player, you just got Wish, you want to, but you don't want to do something too crazy. You want your GM to go like crazy weird on it. So you're like, DM, I want to use Wish, but I just want to like telekinesis on 5 things.
Yeah.
And it's
instead of on 5 times the weight or whatever.
Or 5 times the weight. Or I want to hit 5 different things and hold up the weight or whatever and just telekinesis grab them, right? I kind of feel like it's probably something like that. And I think that's within the wheelhouse of what she does, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's, again, Wish is very much flavor of Wanda. For sure.
I like that. I actually think that this is space metal that's just very light.
But telekinesis still only can
super
grab
tight.
one thing. You can't grab 5 things with
Oh,
telekinesis.
it's all connected. It just breaks apart when she chucks it. But yeah, it's all one big rig before she picks it up, because it's all connected.
Okay.
But then it breaks as she like picks it
Okay,
up
so
and
you're
then
saying
chucks
it's
it.
still telekinesis, no wish, and it's just space metal.
Yeah, it's just space metal.
Space metal.
Super tough, like really, really thin, light.
So next time your DM throws space metal at you and it's really light, you say, "Great, that gives me
That's right.
That gives me
That's
more
right.
lateral
That's right.
usage with telekinesis."
There are these like giant spinning wheels just burrowing through the.
How much
and
does
you
it weigh,
say,
DM?
Is that metal from space by chance?
And how much does it weigh? Would you say it's more than or less than 1,000 pounds? DMs beware.
Oh man, I'm gonna regret this when I'm DMing one day, aren't I? Because you're gonna be like, "Is
You
it space
might.
metal, Tyler?" And I'm like, "Ah, damn it, yeah, it is."
You might.
Another shield. Although with Thanos here, she doesn't only like stop his attack from hitting her, but she also disarms him, which is really interesting. But I mean, if you pumped up a shield with,
Is she disarming him, or is she just hitting him so hard he lets go?
Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that could be it too.
I mean, because he kind of takes a step back and just could be like a repelling blast, and he just pushes him, and again, okay, let's go. Although she kind of destroyed the sword to a degree, but
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she took a decent chunk out of it. Although, again, that didn't like lower its technical. Like, if I was the DM for that, Thanos' sword still does the exact same amount of damage. So maybe that's just flavor.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is
Russo's, these guys are great DMs.
It does have 2 blades, right?
That's true.
Oh,
broke
you
one of
damaged
them.
one, but I got the
And
other.
he has the other one still. Yeah. And, she picks him up and she's stripping away his armor.
I think that's like a wish, because again, I mean, to a degree, it's like what spell. Unless you want to say it's like a heat metal and the armor's melting off. I don't know.
I totally thought about that. I totally thought it's kind of a heat metal. Maybe
his armor can come on and off him mentally to a degree, and so as it's like
Right.
heating up, he's deciding to
Right.
shed some pieces of it. That
Although
are
she
hot.
picks him up off the ground, so that feels a lot like a Bigby's hand or a telekinesis
Telekinesis.
to like hold him there.
Or she just could do a levitate on him and then just push him up in the air. Now
yeah.
he can't.
Now
do
he can't
anything.
he can't get back down. He's like,
again.
"Come on, somebody,
Somebody push me.
So that's what he was hoping. He said, "Rain fire," so that it hits him and he can get back on the ground.
Right. Stop this concentration from this caster on me.
That'd be pretty great. He's just sitting there like holding the ground,
Moving along. I'm gonna get you.
next bit of the battle. But no, you're right. He's like, "Oh, I gotta break her concentration. Rain
Right.
fire." Yeah.
Right.
All right, so that's a lot of her abilities. There are a few special abilities or things that come up only once, and it's hard to explain them without, let's look at them. So,
Well,
in
and again, I think this one right here too. It's like
Age of Ultron,
you're a
boom.
wish spell and just say, "Hey DM," again, making it easy. I just want to disintegrate everybody around me. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
It's like okay, again,
Great.
a wish, an easy wish for a DM
Yeah,
to
yeah.
rule on.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
not, I want to save
Unless-
the entire city. And I don't want to like make the city disappear and reappear on the ground already. I don't
Right.
want to like take away the entire arc of this combat. It's
Sure.
I want to kill these 8 things at once, and
Well,
then the DM just
and-
describes it as a disintegrate.
Right. And again, too, I think there's lots of other spells this probably could be, except for the fact that I think a lot of them might have a lot of other collateral damage around the arena. And in this scenario, right, she knows she can't necessarily damage the middle pillar,
Right.
otherwise it will destroy the city, and that's not ready yet. So that's why I kind of say, yeah, I think it's like a wish with like a mass disintegrate,
That's
like,
really cool. That's really cool. Well, and then in Civil War.
And what I say, and if you go with
sure.
wish too, you can only use it like so many times usually before like
Right.
you have a chance you're just not gonna be able to cast it anymore.
Right, once a week.
And I'm thinking that like of all the different movies, I'm thinking like, yeah, she only uses like 3 times.
Yeah.
So I think it could work because like she's not like she's using it for everything. She's not
Right.
just every spell is a wish or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is neat. That is neat. And I like this one. I actually want this to be homebrewed. In Captain America Civil War,
A better
she-
counter spell.
She catches a fireball.
I think it's just got counter spell.
Yeah. Okay. But then it gets redirected and blows up still.
A super counter.
A super counter spell. Yeah. I mean, catch fireball. Like, I mean, we should do the metrics.
Well,
for
why
this,
stop at
'cause that could
fireballs? Why
totally
not
work.
like
Well, it's
maybe
true.
rebound
area
spell?
effect, rebound.
A rebound spell.
But
Now
she-
that could be cool. You rebound a spell back on the caster to cast it.
Right.
Ooh,
Or
I
at
might
least
do this.
you try to. Now, this is the thing.
Okay.
This is what keeps it balanced, is that maybe when it comes back to you, you got to roll a d20 or something to determine which direction it goes. Because she didn't want it to go into a building. She wanted to go straight out and
Or,
blow up where nobody
maybe
was.
you roll a d20, and if you're not high enough, you rebound it, but it could go somewhere random or
There
could
you
have
go.
unintended
There you go.
consequences.
Yeah, that
That
could
be a fun spell.
That could be a fun spell.
I may try and homebrew this.
It's pretty neat. That's
could be
a pretty
fun.
cool idea. And she doesn't like what had happened.
No. She's like, oh no.
She clearly had to concentrate
She
on
is
it.
mortified and shocked.
And then finally, she is able to just like channel some, and this is probably going to give away what I think she is, just some chaotic raw magic into the Infinity Stone, which does end up destroying it.
I think it's a disintegration spell.
There you go.
I just think it's a slight disintegrate.
Although disintegrate does specify that it will disintegrate everything except for magic items. And I think the Infinity Stones are magic items.
Okay.
That's checkmate. I'm just kidding.
Unless, I mean, some legendary magic items have specific ways to destroy them.
So dang smart.
And so it could just be, well,
there you go.
You have to have a disintegration ray to do it.
And you have to have had your powers unlocked by the
Infinity Stone in the first place.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's cool.
Right.
I like that. Look at the emotion. Okay, and last thing, and if you've been keeping up with WandaVision, this is not a spoiler, so not a spoiler alert for everybody.
I thought it was.
Wanda, using her like this, and in the comics it's called chaos magic, but also because of the class I think she is, it's chaos magic. And this is the one that I think is definitely Wish. Although it's a really cool take on Wish.
For sure Wish. Oh, yeah. It's like, hey, DM, I want to wish the world to be what I want it to be. And the DM rebounds back and says, that's fine, except for it's not everywhere you think it is, but it's just here.
Yes.
And people can walk out and it stops working.
There's this hex, and there's these walls to it.
Right.
It's like you created a demiplane on our plane.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. A demiplane on the plane.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Neat. And in her little demiplane, she wished for for Vision to be alive and to have her life be a sitcom, and now it is.
Right.
And bada bang.
Boom.
So classes, what do you think, Brad?
She's a warlock.
A warlock.
She's totally a warlock. She gets her powers from the Infinity Stone.
She made a pact.
And specifically, I would say that she's actually probably a genie warlock. Because again, like I said, what she does is wish fulfillment type stuff.
You wish. That's true.
Very much in the flavor of what she does, right? It's kind of like a genie too. So I think she's a genie warlock.
Well, and what are the Infinity Stones if not like
wish
just a bunch of different type of genies?
A bunch of wish fulfillment type stones that can varying capacities or abilities.
We're about to
which is encompassed in the class. You can have different types of different djinn that you can make your pact with that changes and alters your spells a little bit.
Absolutely.
And again, I think a lot of what she does, it could be magic missile, but she does push people around a lot.
People are getting knocked down.
And knocked down.
They
and
get
she
up again,
them.
but she keeps getting them down.
Yeah, there's a...
Can't keep them down.
Right.
But they get up again.
I think it's just probably an Eldritch Blast, and she's just gotten, Repelling Blast and Grasp of Hadar and stuff like that to kind of just add more effects to her Eldritch Blasting, because at the end of the day, she's a superhero. She does do the same thing over and over and over again.
Absolutely. That is really cool. I love that. And for me, Tyler thinks that she's a sorcerer.
Yeah,
now,
I could see that.
Chaos magic, or maybe the one, the new one that from Tosh that does a lot of the mind stuff.
Oh yeah, the psionic sorcery.
Yeah. Or maybe the DM was kind of chill, and she started as the psionic sorcery. But then she switched to chaos later, and it's like
the wild magic sorcerer.
Typically, you can't change your subclass, but she just kind of was like, well, I'm a good guy now. My alignment's changed. I'm lawful good, or at least
it could have been
good.
she was more of a psionic sorcerer, and she was building that way, and then she's like, actually level 2. I think I want to switch to wild magic.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
But I mean. Yeah, I could see her as a sorcerer. I still think she's more of a warlock because
I love that flavor.
Warlocks
cool
get
flavor.
their powers usually from something.
From a patron, yeah.
And in this case, it was an Infinity Stone. Why not, right?
Heck yeah.
I mean, if warlocks can make a pact with a sword,
yeah.
Why can't it be a stone? I mean, come on.
All right, Brad, plug your ears. Small, tiny spoiler.
Well, why you get him to the internet? Don't do it. No, stop.
If you know how episode
spoiler alert
8 ends,
if you haven't seen the ending, then don't watch this point right here.
Wanda didn't get 100% of what her mojo is from the Infinity Stone, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways.
But do warlocks ever get all their mojo from the pact? I mean,
probably not.
Can they not twist and take their pact and say and enhance it more and do more with it once they get access to it, something like it?
Who do you guys think is right? Warlock or sorcerer?
We know by the die rolls that I am right, so we'll go with that.
This dice likes you. I put it in jail.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think she is, if it's a warlock or sorcerer or something else. We'll love to hear your comments and your feedback. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.